Okay, so I've come to the end of my research section for my FMP, and I'm just going to record this vlog to reflect over it as a whole and see what I could have done better, what I think went well, and what I've learnt from this section that I'm going to input into production. So I divided my research into primary research and secondary research with a range of quantitative and qualitative research tasks. So I started off with creating a questionnaire on Google Forms, and I think it was a bit rushed, if I'm honest. Because I spent way too much time on context, I realised that I needed to speed up if I was going to hit my key dates on my project schedule plan. So I made the questionnaire, added some questions that I thought were relevant, and sent it out via Snapchat and Instagram, and sent it to my friends and peers. And I didn't receive many responses because it was quite last minute. I received, I think it was around 15 responses. On that 13, I think it was 13 responses, which obviously isn't great. So if I was to do it again, I think I'd try and I'd try and think of ways that I could reach a wider audience. For example, posting on student forum sites to gain more responses. And I think I could have added more questions. Like, I could have asked them I could have given them options of locations that I want to shoot in, and what would be the most appropriate for the genre, or which ones they liked more than others. But anyway, I used the data from the questionnaire to make an infographic, which I think ended up pretty okay. I tried to keep it visual as possible. I think if I had more time, I would have tried to make a video on After Effects and to challenge myself a bit more. But again, I was trying to, because of my poor time management in context, I was trying to stick to the set amount of time I gave myself to do research. And yeah, I would have tried to make some kind of interactive visual on After Effects if I could do it again. So I interviewed my friend Alfie, who is really into post-apocalyptic films, and I think it went pretty well. We did it on Zoom because he lives in London, so it can be quite hard to arrange to meet, especially specifically for this, and we're both busy at the moment with our individual projects. So yeah, we did a Zoom call and I asked him the questions. I think the audio's maybe slightly muffled at times. That's just, I'm not really sure how much better I could have done audio quality wise. So ideally we could have filmed it in person, but I think overall the questions I asked him and the responses that he gave, like whether his opinions on whether to use a human or non-human threat, and he was quite strongly in the use a human threat as it'll be more relatable to audiences. So that gave me confidence that I'm going with the right idea of having a human threat, as well as the responses in the questionnaire, which also backed up that. So that was good. I think for primary research, if I had more time, I would have liked to have done more tasks, like a case study on the genre, which I think would have just added more. It also would have given me more understanding and knowledge of the genre going into production. But anyway, for secondary research, I decided to analyze shots from some of my favorite films in the genre. So I picked 28 Days Later and I Am Legend, and it was actually really helpful because just to like sit and watch a film that's, you know, like critically acclaimed, and there's a universal feeling that it's one of the best. These two are like the best post-apocalyptic films. So just from like the camera angles and shot types and ideas was, yeah, it was really helpful to just sit and gain some inspiration from that. I could have included more analysis of the shots, and if I had more time I would have liked to maybe covered some more films or done a shot by shot analysis of one scene. But I still feel like I still feel like that research task has helped me in given me some ideas going into production. My next task is I decided to look up some articles and books surrounding the genre and short films, and to try and gain some more inspiration, which I did, and yeah, that was also really helpful. Especially there was, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was a quote from an article, and they were talking about locations and the importance of like the practicality of locations. And even though there might be somewhere that you think this would be amazing, you need to think about, would I be able to light this shot, or would I be allowed to film here, and all those kind of things. So then I think I'm going to try and take some risk assessments, and maybe if I have time, if I need to ask permissions to film in certain locations. And also there was another quote about the importance of creating a hook in your script, which has motivated me to really try my best to write this script that will grab the audience's attention right from the start and end in a satisfying way as well. And I would have liked to have done some more secondary research, perhaps studied some archival material, and included a wider range of qualitative and quantitative research. So if I had a chance to do this again, that's what I would do differently. I think overall, my research has helped me to solidify my concept, and it's helped me to come up with ideas going into production that I can use in storyboarding and script writing. And I now know how I want to shoot the film. And yeah, as mentioned before, the importance of really creating an interesting, engaging hook and keeping the audience's attention, because I would only have about 5 to 10 minutes to tell this story. So I need to make sure that I'm including all the right shots, all the right sequences, so that it's not boring, or also that it doesn't go on for too long. I think I need to, because it is a short film, so as I mentioned before in the context, I am going to aim for 5 to 10 minutes, and yeah, I'm going to really try with this script to get it the best that it can be. So yeah, that's the end of my reflections for research, and I'm hoping that I can take everything I've learned in this section and implement it into production.